Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Judge Kim Teresa Malika. You're in first appearance magistrate court. Today you're going to be informed of the charges and we're going to determine if there's probable cause. Today is not your trial day. Do not talk about the facts of your case. Everything's being recorded. You have a right to remain silent. You also have a right to an attorney. We have Mr. Romero, who's at the main jail, and we have Mr. Reedy, who's here in the courtroom. If you have a private attorney, please let me know when you step up to the podium. First case that we have is Counsel, can everybody announce their appearance for the record, please?
Brian Reedy from the Public Defender's Office.
Eric Linder on behalf of the state.
Okay, Mr. Romero?
Hector Romero with the Public Defender's Office, sir.
Good morning. Okay, Johnston Nicole Simmons?
I have her at North Broward.
No,
She's
here.
there, okay.
I'm going to need a moment, Judge, to speak to her.
Sure.
Judge, thank you for giving me the opportunity. We're ready to proceed.
Okay, are you Miss Simmons?
Yes,
Okay, good morning, ma'am. You're charged with one count of touch or strike battery, domestic violence. The court does find probable cause. Bond, we need to talk about setting bond. Anybody wish to be heard?
Your Honor, state would be requesting $1,000 bond and no victim contact.
And I would point out that the victim did not want to provide a tape sworn statement or allow photographs to be taken of him.
Judge, and speaking of Ms. Simmons, my understanding is this is her first contact or first arrest ever. She is a registered here in Broward County. She's been residing in our community for 22 years. She is 46 years old. This is a misdemeanor offense, Judge. From what my colleague stated, what the PC affidavit is, it seems like highly improbable that the victim's going to be wanting to proceed on this matter. I do understand, Your Honor, that at this point you just have to determine probable cause and release conditions. I would ask you, considering her lack of priors, this being a misdemeanor incident, I'd ask you to consider releasing her ROR. As far as the no contact order, I know Your Honor typically does impose no contact. From what Ms. Simmons informed me, she resides there with her husband. It is actually her. She I guess from what she advised me, it's her place. She pays all the bills, everything like that. Judge, I'd ask you at this time to not impose that at this time. That's the defense's position, Judge.
Okay, this is what the court's going to do. The court is going to set bond at $100. The court's going to put her on standard pretrial release. No victim contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim RR. She's to surrender any firearms or ammunition to her local police department immediately upon her release. Thank you very much. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Judge, I know Your Honor imposed a standard pretrial and gave her a bond of $100. She does work for Delta Airlines. She's been working for them for about 20 years. She is a flight attendant. I'd ask you at this time to delete pretrial release and then raise the bond from $100 to $500, Judge. Like I said, she's a registered voter. She's never had contact with the system, Judge. To put
Okay,
her on pretrial
500
release.
standard pretrial. Thank you.
No, Judge, that would,
I'm sorry, 500, no standard pretrial.
thank you, Judge.
Sorry about that. Brianna Nicole Mack.
Ms. Mack is approaching.
Okay, good morning, Ms. Mack. You have one count of touch or strike battery. The court does find probable cause. Anybody wish to be heard with regard to bond?
State would be requesting a $1,500 bond. She has a 2012 possession of cocaine out of Broward. She was convicted of battery out of Hillsborough County in 2011, arrested in 08 and 07 in Tampa for failure to appear in court.
Okay, defense?
Judge, one moment, please, okay?
Sure.
Thank you very much, I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Are you ready, Mr. Odom? Okay. All right, while you talk to her, let me take a municipal ordinance, Mr. Romero.
Thank you,
And
Judge.
then the one after that is Deidre Williams. Okay, Anthony Edward Warren.
Well, excuse me. Good morning, Your Honor. George Odom on behalf of Mr. McLawrence. It indicates here Mr. Warren is at large. I don't see any stable address. I'm asking the court to appoint Mr. McLawrence's law office to his case.
Sure.
Judge, I'm not going to advise Mr. McLaurin to resolve today. Obviously, it's going to be his choice. But I do have something.
I do want to resolve today.
Okay. Okay, the court will adjudicate on one, withhold on two.
Adjudicate on one, withhold on two.
Yep.
Mr. Warren, did you hear the court's offer?
What was that?
On count one, the resisting an officer without violence, the court advised that she will offer you an adjudication, court costs on the matter and time served. On count two, for the solicitation and display of a public of right-of-way, she will offer you a withhold of adjudication with credit for time already served and court costs to that count as well. Are you interested in that?
That's fine with me.
Okay, sir, raise your right hand. Do you swear and/or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, put your hand down. Is your name Anthony Edward Warren, W-O-R-N?
Yes, it is.
It's my understanding you wish to waive your right to a trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody forcing you to do this?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medication?
No, ma'am.
Ever been treated for a mental illness?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, a plea to this charge could result in deportation?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's if you're not a U.S. citizen. Okay?
I am a U.S. citizen.
Okay, then you don't have to worry about it now. All right, so understanding what I just explained to you, are you pleading guilty or no contest to resisting an officer without violence and solicitation and display on public right-of-way?
No contact.
Okay, the court's going to accept your plea, find that it's freely and voluntarily entered. The court has reviewed the court file, finds probable cause for the plea. The court's going to adjudicate your time served on count one, withhold on count two. Count one, the court has to impose court costs, which are required by law. I can't waive them, $78. I'll give you 6 months to pay that. And the court will take judicial notice of time served on count two, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. You have 30 days to appeal the sentence to the court. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, next one is,
Judge, we are ready on Brianna Mack.
okay, let me just call one more for Mr.
Oh,
Odom,
no
because
problem,
this is his last one.
No problem.
And then after that, you have Deidre Williams, Trent Eric Mung, and Cole Michael Lapointe. I don't know if you have them.
Thank you. I'm gonna check right now, Mr. Long, if he's here.
Thank you.
Mr. Lapointe's attorney is on her way, Your Honor. She's asking that his case be recalled until she arrives.
That's fine, thank you for letting me know. Okay, Michael Dean Schuyler.
I'm sure it was a medical reset. I'm not sure if it's medical reset since the
Is there a
9th.
Michael Dean Schuyler?
Okay.
Good morning, sir, how are you? Hello. Sir, you gotta hit the button there. Hello. Are you Michael Dean Schuyler?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir, you're charged with disorderly intoxication and resisting without violence. Mr. Odom, does he want to resolve this case?
Your Honor, same position on the previous case. I would not advise Mr. Schuyler to resolve, but it's going to be his decision. I've read over the probable cause affidavit. Mr. Schuyler, are you looking to resolve this case today?
You advise not to?
I would advise you not to resolve today. Let me ask you this question: do you have $100 to post bail on the resisting without violence?
Yes, when I was brought in, I offered to pay, and I have not been permitted to yet.
Okay, so if I could obtain what is it, on a debit card?
Yes, sir.
So if I were to
You know what, the court's gonna ROR him. Thank you.
perfect. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Ms. Schuyler, we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day, Mr. Odom. Brianna Nicole Mack, please, and then we're gonna call Deidre Williams.
Ms. Mack, come on, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Romero, for letting Mr. Odom go.
No problem, Judge.
Okay. All right, Ms. Mack, you have touch or strike battery. The court does find probable cause. We need to talk about bond. State asked for $1,500.
Judge, we're going to be asking for pretrial release. I do understand she has limited contacts with the criminal justice system, but from what she informed me, she's 29 years old, been here her whole entire life. She's working at Steak and Shake, and she's the sole financial provider of her family. The alleged victim on this case, I guess, is the father of her child. They do live together. The child is 4 months old, and what they do is he's not working. She works during the day. No, I'm sorry. She works the night shift, and at night he takes care of the child. So they have an arrangement. Judge, I'd ask you at this time to consider releasing Miss Mack on pretrial release. Like I said, her child's 4 months old. She's the sole provider of her family. I did explain to her you're going to be ordering no contact, so she's going to have to be separate and apart from the alleged victim. She informs me she's going to be going to reside with a friend in Hollywood. Judge, I would ask you for the limited purposes of arranging child transportation to and from while she's working. For that purpose alone, could they go ahead and through a third person arrange that sort of arrangement? And I'd ask you for standard pretrial on Mack's behalf, Judge.
I'm gonna order no contact, direct or indirect. If she wants to have a third party pick up a child, that's fine,
Thank you, Judge.
okay? But what can she afford for bond?
Like I said, she works at Steak and Shake. She's supporting the three of them, the 4-month-old, the child's father, and her. Right now with the rent, she's not. That's why she can't afford it. We're asking for standard pretrial, Judge.
She's gotta post something, $100 bond, standard pretrial.
Yes, Judge.
Does she need access to a property or anything?
Judge, like I said, right now her phone is not in property, so she has no way of contacting anybody. I know you already ruled. I'm going to ask you once again to reconsider standard pretrial with no monetary bond at this time.
Okay, this is what the court will do. The court will ROR her, standard pretrial, no victim contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim TG. Court will allow a third party to pick up the child. No firearms or ammunition, and surrender to the local police department upon arrest. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Deidre Williams. But thank you for mentioning the
Williams is approaching,
firearms.
Judge. She's here in Maine.
Okay, Ms. Williams, you are charged with 1 count, touch or strike battery, domestic violence. We need to talk about bond. Counts 2 and 3 are ROR. There's possession of cannabis, 20 grams or less, and resisting an officer. Thank you. Without violence. Any objection to probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, the court finds probable cause. Any
Oh, as to count two, actually, I do, Judge. It doesn't appear that the marijuana was tested.
Okay, stay.
Not asking for any time.
Pardon?
I'm not asking for any time.
Okay, so no PC on 2, ROR. Okay, the court does find probable cause on the other ones. On 1 and 3. Let's talk about bond on 1.
Your Honor, Ms. Williams has a 2009 delivery of cocaine out of Broward. Based on the level of violence that's alleged in the
She
probable
has a
cause.
what? I'm sorry?
Delivery of cocaine. Based on the level of violence alleged in the probable cause affidavit, state be requesting a $1,500 bond, no victim contact.
I would add, Judge, that Miss Williams' risk assessment indicates that she is a low risk to fail to appear or to reoffend if released on pretrial release.
Okay. All right, Mr.
Judge,
Romero.
and speaking of Ms. Williams, she's 28 years old. She's working for Sentinel as a distributor. Judge, considering the circumstances as far as her only contact being almost 10 years ago, we feel that a $1,000 bond on count 1 would be reasonable this time.
Okay, $1,000 bond, no contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim RJB. No possession of any firearms or ammunition, and you're to surrender same to your local law enforcement immediately upon your release if you do possess any.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Trent Eric Mong, and then after that, we have Cole Michael Lapointe.
Mr. Trent Mong
Oh,
is here
sorry.
present, Judge. Mr. Mong, Judge, Mr. Mong declined to service as a public defender.
Okay,
Very good. I don't know.
Willie, you can find out.
Judge, I'm going to need 1 moment to speak to Mr. Mong. Change his mind.
Sure.
Judge, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm ready, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Mong, you are charged with 1 count of touch or strike battery. Any objection to probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, the court does find probable cause. The court's going to order no victim contact, direct or indirect. It's the next one. No victim contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim with the initials of JB. You are not to possess any firearms or ammunition, and you're to surrender any immediately upon your release if you do possess any. Okay, let's talk about bond.
Your Honor, based on the allegation of violence in the probable cause affidavit, state be requesting a $1,500 bond.
1,500?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, defense?
Judge, considering this is his first arrest ever, however, in speaking to Mr. Mung, we feel that's reasonable. His mom will be financially be able to, pay that. We're gonna ask you, Judge, for a phone order so that he can access his phone contacts so he can contact his mother to post his monetary bond. Having said that, Judge, the only other issue is gonna be, he's the, primary, I guess, not custodian, but he's the one that takes care of their child. He's an aspiring actor, so he has lots of time available to take care of his child. The alleged victim is his wife. She actually works. So I would ask you for purposes of arranging the child transportation, child care, if they could go through a third party for that purpose to have contact. But other than that, $1,500, we have no objection at this point, Judge.
Court will allow contact through a third party.
And you'll sign the phone order?
Yes. As long
Thank
as
you,
Mr.
Judge.
Reedy gets it to me.
Oh, I think
Drafting it right now, Judge.
He's writing
I'm writing as fast as I can, Hector.
He's getting his stamp soon.
afterwards.
Okay, so let's call Cole Michael Lapointe, or Lapointe.
We could recall.
Oh, is that the one? Okay.
Yeah, his attorney is on the way.
Who has, Mr. Lapointe has an attorney?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Christian Joe Izaguirre Ordonez.
He's here, Judge. I'm gonna need 1 moment to speak to Mr. Izaguirre. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. You can just bring it here, Mr. Reedy. I know.
Judge, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm ready on Mr. Izaguirre.
Okay, any objection to probable cause?
Yes, Your Honor. It does not appear that there is probable cause. The victim herself stated that she was bleeding from the nose because she suffers from high blood pressure and a capillary burst. He stated his wounds were from a construction job, so both the defendant and the victim denied that anything happened. The only evidence that anything did happen is the victim's mother, who was the one who called 911, stating that the victim had called her and told her that the defendant had hit her and dragged her by the hair, but the victim herself denies it. So that is not probable cause.
Okay, state.
Probable cause, he had evidence, whether who it came from. The officer is in the position to take information, investigate, and determine what he or she believes to be credible or not.
Okay, the court does find probable cause. The court's going to order no victim contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim with the initials GG, and he's to surrender any firearms or ammunition to his local police department immediately upon his release. State, you want to be heard with regard to bond?
State's requesting $1,000 bond, Your Honor.
Okay, defense?
Judge, we feel that's reasonable.
Okay, $1,000 bond. Good luck to you. David Neelite.
He's here present, Judge. He informed us that he has private counsel.
Okay, who's your private counsel, sir?
I'm sorry,
Who is your private counsel, sir?
David Ferguson,
And where is his office out of?
Fort Lauderdale.
Does Mr. Ferguson know that you're in jail, sir?
I left a message last night. I don't know if he's here though.
Okay, is there anybody that can call Mr. Ferguson? We'll try to get a hold of him, sir, and recall your case, okay? Have a seat.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joshua Pavel Argot. Then after that is gonna be Ivan Paul.
Come on up, Mr. Argo.
Okay, Mr. Argot, good morning, sir. You're charged with 1 count touch or strike battery, domestic violence. Court does find probable cause. Court's gonna order no victim contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim with the initials AP. The court's gonna order that you surrender immediately upon your release any firearms or ammunition to your local police department, okay, sir? Understand? Does he understand, Mr. Romero?
Yes, Judge. Judge, can I have a moment then to speak to him? Because I haven't had an opportunity to speak to this gentleman. They've just been brought in, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you. Judge, we're ready. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, anybody want to be heard with regard to, does Mr. Argot understand that there's no victim contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim AP, and to surrender any firearms to his local police department immediately upon his release?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, who wants to be heard with regard to bond?
Your Honor, I'm going to be requesting a $2,500 bond. Mr. Argo was in the state of North Carolina. He was picked up for failing to appear 2014. He was arrested for misdemeanor cyber stalking 2014. That was dropped. In 2013, he was arrested for assault on a female, breaking or entering, injury to personal property, injury to real property. Those charges were dropped. In Utah, 2016, he was arrested for assault against a police officer. I have no disposition.
Okay, defense, $2,500 bond.
Judge, in speaking to Mr. Argo, the alleged victim on this is his brother. It happened at their home, allegedly in Tamarack, so I did inform him that he's going to have no contact, so he's going to be living with his other brother who resides in a different location. Having said that, Mr. Argo informed me that there's right now no one that could post a monetary bond, not even his other brother that's going to take him in and help him that way. Judge, he's 31 years old. At this time, he's not working. He just recently got laid off in December. There's no financial resources that he has access to. Having said that, having this being a misdemeanor offense, Judge, I'd ask you at this time to consider pretrial release on Mr. Argo's behalf.
Okay, court's gonna ROR standard pretrial release.
Thank you, Judge.
Ivan Paul.
Mr. Paul's here present, Judge, I mean?
Okay, Mr. Paul, you're charged with 1 count touch or strike battery. Any objection to probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, the court finds probable cause. The court's gonna order no contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim in the case with the initials DG, and he is not to possess any firearms or ammunition, and if he does possess any, immediately upon his release, to surrender them to his local police department. Do you understand, Mr. Paul?
Do you understand? Yes.
Okay, who wants to be heard with regard to bond?
Your Honor, I'm going to be requesting a $5,000 bond, no victim contact, noting as far as his criminal history, and he was picked up in Broward in '05 for failing to appear in court on felony charges. That '05 case that he was ultimately convicted on was delivery of cocaine, resisting without violence. He had possession of cocaine with intent to sell, manufacture, deliver, and possession of cocaine in '04. He violated probation on both of those cases. And resisting without violence in '93. I would note an aggravating fact in this case, this incident, the violence allegedly occurred in front of the victim's grandchild.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you to notify the authorities. I don't know if they've been notified.
Your Honor, it says in the last sentence that CPIS was notified.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Judge, in reference to Mr. Paul, I believe the state suggested a $5,000 bond. That's gonna be something that Mr. Paul is not gonna be able to afford. Judge, he's currently receiving disability. He gets approximately $800 per month. He does live with the alleged victim. He's gonna be basically having no contact. He's gonna go and reside with his son, who's in Pompano. I asked how much his son could really afford. He advised me not much, because right now his son is unemployed as well. Judge, I'd ask you to consider setting a $1,500 bond on Mr. Paul's behalf.
Okay, $1,500 bond, no victim contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim, DG, and no possession of firearms, and he's to surrender them pending local law enforcement. Thank you. Next one's gonna be Erin Elizabeth Angeli Martinez, and then Keon Cole.
Miss Angeli Martinez is in North Broward, Your Honor.
Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And yourself?
Fine, thank you. Ma'am, you have an out-of-state charge out of Ohio, failure to comply with an officer for forgery or theft. You're gonna be held no bond.
Okay.
Have you haven't gone to an extradition hearing, have you?
No, I was told that it will be tomorrow morning.
It'll be tomorrow at 1 with me, okay?
Okay, thank
See
you.
you then. Okay.
Have a good one.
Keon Cole? Keon Cole.
Mr. President, Judge, I may?
Okay, Mr. Cole, you have an out-of-state hold out of New York for false statement for insurance fraud. You're gonna be held no bond. You will be seeing me tomorrow, most likely, for an extradition hearing, okay? Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Christina McNeely, and then we have Kayla Isabella Gretsch.
Paul Ryan, I believe, Judge.
Can you come back to these next two? I didn't get a chance to talk to them up at Paul Run.
Christina McNeely and Kayla Gretsch.
And Miss Gresh as well.
Okay, what about
I don't know where Miss Clark is.
Ms. Clark?
Ms. Clark is at medical reset.
Okay.
Honor.
Okay, Clark is a medical reset. Let me know when you're ready on those. Okay, what is your name, ma'am? What is your name for both of you?
Christina McNeely and Kayla Graff.
Okay, let's take these. Does anybody know what page they are?
Who is it?
Page 6.
Page 6?
Angela Ribeiro? Oh, Christina I see, okay.
Angela Rivera, is here present, Judge? That mean.
Maybe stuff I give you over there.
Okay, Paul Ryan, you need to hit the mute button. Ma'am, you see a red button there?
Yes.
Hit that button, okay, thank you. All right, so let's do Angela Ribeiro at the main jail.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, ma'am, you are charged with 1 count of burglary with assault or battery, count 2, resisting an officer or obstructing without violence, and counts 3 and 4 are KPS misdemeanors, operating without a valid DL, and petty theft. You didn't show up at calendar call. on the operating without a valid DL and the petty theft. So $750 bond total for that. Any objection to probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, court does find probable cause.
Hang on one second.
Your Honor, I spoke with Ms. Dent this morning. Even though count one is a punishable by life offense, and it appears this did occur in the officer's presence, I'm not going to have an objection to a bond. Your Honor, because this is a first-degree offense punishable by life in state prison, I'm going to be requesting a $5,000 bond in order of no victim contact.
Okay, court's gonna order no victim contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim with the initials TRD. Do you understand that, ma'am? That means in person through third parties. No contact through social media, liking, disliking anything, and no texting, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And there's no return to the residence on Northwest 58th Terrace, do you understand?
No return.
Okay, Mr. Romero, you wish to be heard on the $5,000 bond?
Let me ask her if she's gonna be able to afford that, Judge. Hold on one moment, please. Judge, in speaking with Ms. Ribeiro, I was asking her as far as the $5,000, if, who's gonna be able to post it. She informed me her mother. She doesn't think that her mother's gonna be able to quite afford that. We're gonna be asking for your honor to consider a $2,500 bond. She's 24 years old. She is a single mother. She has a 6-year-old child. She's currently working. She works for Adrian's Artistry. She's her assistant. She gets paid about $200 a week. So funds are very limited. I do understand as far as the no contact and no return, she has no problem abiding by the court's order, Judge. We'd be asking you to consider really a $2,500 bond. She's still going to have to come up with the money on counts 3 and 4, the $750 bond. So, Judge, that's what we feel would be reasonable in this situation. And we'd ask you to sign an order allowing us to photograph her injuries.
Okay, the court will grant your request for a photo order, no victim contact, and no return to the alleged victim's residence, which is 1608 Northwest 58th Terrace. Court will also do $2,500 bond on count 1, count 2 is an ROR, counts 3 and 4 are $250 and $500, standard pretrial release. Thank you. Are you ready on McNeely and Gretsch?
Yes, I am, Your Honor. They're actually co-defendants.
Yeah, I'm gonna call them both. Okay, are you Christina McNeely and Kayla Gretsch?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, you're both charged with possession of cannabis, 20 grams or less. Any objection to probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, the court does find probable cause. What are we doing with this case?
Judge, they're both college students with no prior contact with the criminal justice system. They're down here on spring break. They were staying.
Do they want to resolve their case today, or do they want an ROR?
I'd like an ROR if we could do that, Judge. There are diversion programs that can keep this kind of thing off their record. I think they should take advantage of
ROR,
that.
make sure you keep up with your court dates, okay? Check online. Good luck to you, ladies.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ashley
Thank-
Faith Perpignand.
Morning.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
I'm okay.
Ma'am, you're charged with 1 count of grand theft auto. If you could just throw it a little bit. Don't worry. Everybody's throwing everything at me all day anyway. Okay, you're charged with 1 count of grand theft auto, and there is a capious misdemeanor for a petty theft. Bond's been set at $1,000 on each count. Any objection to probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, the court finds probable cause. There's $2,000 in bond. Does anybody wish to be heard?
Yes, Judge. Miss Perpignand, I know I just butchered that name. She's been a resident here all of her life, Judge. She's currently enrolled to get her GED. She goes to school 5 days a week for that program. She has lived in the same location all of her life with her grandmother. She believes if she has access to her phone, she will be able to post some kind of bond. She's not sure if she has enough to come up with $2,000 worth of bond. I'd ask the court for a $1,000 total bond. I don't believe she has had an extensive contact with the criminal justice system.
Court will do a $500 bond on count 1. 1,000 on 2 is going to stay in place. There's no victim contact, direct or indirect, with Mr. Ernoso Elazmi. His initials are EE. Do you understand, ma'am?
Yes.
That means no contact, direct or indirect. Means not through third party, social media, texting, blogging, in person, calling, or any of the like, okay? Good luck to you, ma'am. Total bond is $1,500. Okay, Ashley Weimer, and then we have Harriet Hanberry. Okay, Ms. Weimer,
Good morning.
you are charged with 1 count of grand theft auto. Any objection to probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, the court does find a probable cause. $1,000 bond is set. Does anybody wish to be heard?
Judge, Miss Weimer's been a resident of South Florida for all of her life. She currently has virtually no money to post any kind of cash bond. She did indicate to me that she could stay with her mother-in-law. She does not know the address offhand, but I could provide pretrial release with her grandmother's phone number. And I believe, Miss Weimer, didn't you indicate you do know your mother-in-law's address? Do you know her address or not?
I don't have it, no, not offhand.
Okay.
My grandmother has it, yeah.
So I'd ask the court for pretrial release.
Okay. Any objection to ROR standard pretrial?
No.
Okay, standard pretrial release, ma'am. You have to report within 24 hours of being released, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Harriet Hanberry, and then Janine Cahoon.
Hello.
Hello, are you Harriet Hanberry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good morning, ma'am. You have criminal mischief between $200 and $1,000. Bond set at 1,000. You have trespassing, unoccupied structure. Court's gonna ROR you on that. You do have 2 no bond holds for habeas felonies. You were a no-show at arraignment for possession of cocaine, possession of cannabis. Bond is gonna be kept at no bond, $1,000 at the criminal mischief. Court does find probable cause. Anybody want to be heard with regard to the bonds?
No, Judge, she has a no bond hold. I tried to find out a court date for her, but I don't believe one has been set yet.
Okay, you'll find out your court date soon, ma'am. Janine Wahid Cahoon, and then Twan Nugent.
Ms. Cahook is in North Broward, Judge.
Okay. Good morning, Ms. Canuck. You have grand theft between $300 and $5,000, bond set at 1,000. Accident, unattended vehicle, $25 bond. The other one, failure to use due care, is a civil traffic infraction. Count 4 is a violation of probation. You're going to be held no bond. Same for count 5. And then you have count 6 and 7, grand theft between $300 and $5,000. So the total bond, this is including obviously the 2 no bonds, is $3,025. Any objection to probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, court does find probable cause. You are going on your violations of probation before Judge Ernest Kalra, and that's on March 14th, which is this Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Anybody
Okay,
wish to
thank
be heard with regard to the bonds? Okay, the court's gonna leave the bonds as is. You can address them with your division judge. Thank you, ma'am. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Tuan Nugent, and then Stefan Pascal.
Conti? Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. I'm sorry, Sheila? Oh, okay, thank you.
He's awaiting a program on count one, Judge. I think this is the only thing holding him is this municipal ordinance.
Yes, I'm in the program right now. That
Do you
program?
have any pending cases, sir? Would this violate him or anything? I don't think so, right?
No, I don't, Your Honor. And I was in Congress since February 13th, and I never got a chance to go to this court at March 1st.
This charge was from 1/4/18, it says.
I think it's a city orders ticket of sleeping.
Yeah,
Yes.
sleeping on a public street, sidewalk, or beach.
Yes, I
So,
went to
Mr.
solve it
Reedy, do
today.
you see any, issue?
I don't see anything else holding him, Judge.
Okay, sir, you wanna resolve this for a withholding court costs?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay, raise your right hand. Do you swear and/or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
Your name is Tuan Nugent, Nguyen. Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, I didn't
Yes,
sign it
ma'am.
yet. There you go. Thank you. Okay, sir, is anybody forcing you, put your hand down, is anybody forcing you to do this to resolve your case today and give up your right to a trial?
No, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medication?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you plead no contest to sleeping on a public street, sidewalk, or beach?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, court's gonna withhold adjudication and court costs of $78. Give him 6 months to pay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Court takes judicial notice of the time that he served in the Broward County Jail. Okay, sir, you have 30 days to appeal the sentence of the court. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed. Good luck to you. You're done with this case, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Stefan Pascal. Stefan Pascal.
Says me in jail, so I don't know.
Maybe Mr. Romero's talking to him. Mr. Romero, is there a Stefan Pascal there?
I do not believe so, Judge. Could you tell me what page so I can try and find him?
9.
Page 9. Let me inquire.
Good morning, ladies. If you tell the bailiff which case you're here on, we'll call your case out of turn if we're able to. Which case is it? Which case is it? Right here. Here you go.
Judge, Mr. Stephen Pascal is here present, Judge, at Maine.
Let me know when you're ready, okay? You're welcome. Okay, Mr. Stefan Pascal, you're charged with 1 count of resisting an officer without violence. Any objection to probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
Court finds probable cause on resisting an officer without violence. Bond set at $100. Anybody wish to be heard?
Judge, Mr. Pascal is inquiring if the court would consider resolving his case today for time served.
State.
Yeah, I'd offer an adjudication time served.
Okay, adjudication time served. How much time to pay the $293?
Judge, he's going to be asking for 3 months to pay the court costs.
Okay, sir, raise your right hand. Do you swear and/or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, put your hand down. Is your name Stefan Pascal, Pascal, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
It's my understanding you wish to waive your right to a trial?
She asked you if you would like to waive your right to a trial today. You don't want a trial on this, correct? Oh, no.
Okay, so you want to waive your right, give up your right to a trial, sir?
Yeah.
And plead no contest today?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anybody forcing you to do this?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medication?
No, ma'am.
Ever been treated for a mental illness?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you want to plead no contest to resisting an officer without violence?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the court's going to accept your plea, find that it's freely and voluntarily entered. The Court is gonna adjudicate your time served. Your court costs $293, 3 months to pay. You have 30 days to appeal the sentence of the court. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed. You're done with this case, sir. Next case is Alexander Huertas, and then,
Mr. Huertas, come on out.
then Jorge Boston Fontips. Okay, Mr. Huertas, you have a DUI, alcohol, or drugs, first offense. Any objection of probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
Court finds probable cause, bonds at 500. Anybody want to be heard with regard to the bond?
Your Honor, I would just note, it does appear,
Oh, give him the paper.
I'm asking at a minimum that the $500 bond be kept in place. It looks like he's already gotten a bond reduction. It appears this was a crash. Also, it appears he had he had an enhanced breath, .182, .179, but he was not charged with those
Yeah, I see
additional
that.
offenses.
Okay, Mr. Romero, did you hear that?
Yes, Judge, I believe the state's asking for the standard bond to be kept in place. Is that correct?
Yep.
Did they, Mr. Lunder, does Mr. Huertas has any priors?
Priors, I would have advised the court.
Okay, so no priors. Judge, Mr. Huertas, is 28 years old. He advised me he's gonna self-bond. He already tried to self-bond, I believe, either earlier today or last night. That's what he was explaining to me. But unfortunately, on his account, he didn't have enough. We're just gonna be asking, Judge, would you consider reducing him from 500 to 300? He would then have sufficient funds in his account, in his account, and will be able to post his own monetary bond.
Okay, is his address 14401 South Military Trail?
Yes, apartment F100.
Okay, $300 bond. Make sure you go on the clerk's website, sir, and make sure they have the right address. If they don't, you have to immediately notify the clerk in writing with your case number, okay? It's your responsibility if you fail to appear for court and you don't get the written notice to them in time, they're gonna issue a warrant for your arrest, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank
good
you,
luck
Judge.
to you, and I'll do, order for his property. Mr. Reedy, we gotta do an order for this gentleman. Yes. You said he's gonna self-bond, right?
Correct, Judge. So he's gonna need access to his property.
Oh, he does it? Okay, I thought they did. Okay. All right, Jorge Bastos Fontips.
Judge, he's gonna be requiring a Spanish interpreter, Mr. Bastos.
We have one ordered. They should be here shortly.
Willie, do you have the
Toma
paperwork
asiento,
for me?
señor.
Sorry?
No, Willie, just. Okay, we have a private attorney, Cole Michael Lapointe. And then, Mr. Romero, we're gonna be calling after this Edwidge Adhamir,
Yes,
Zachary
Judge.
Smith, and then Zachary Isaac.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right, Cole Michael Lapointe. Is he at the main jail? Does anybody know where he is?
He's here. He's approaching, Judge.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Romero. Okay, sir. Counsel, can you announce your appearance for the record?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. Josie James on behalf of Mr. Lapointe.
Okay, state.
Eric Linder on behalf of the state.
Okay, Mr. Lapointe, good morning, sir. You're charged with one count. Touch or strike battery. Any objection to probable cause?
I am objecting to probable cause, Your Honor. There doesn't seem to be an indication on the probable cause affidavit as to the fact that Ms. Marish, the alleged victim in this case, was struck by Mr. Lapointe. She is present, and she would like to speak to that.
Raven Thomas?
Okay, state.
Your Honor, the question is whether the officer at the time of arrest had probable cause. So I would ask the court to rely on the probable cause affidavit, which specifically states at the end that while still,
On the scene.
yes, while still on the scene, the alleged victim later stated that Cole was her live-in boyfriend of approximately a year. They'd been drinking at the above location when he became angry, threw her across the parking lot, and struck her several times. She also stated that he struck her. He punched her truck several times.
Okay, the court is gonna find probable cause. Anybody wish to be heard with regard to bond?
Your Honor, I'm going to be requesting a $5,000 bond. Obviously, no victim contact, based not only on the level of violence alleged in this case, but I would also note that Mr. Lapointe is currently out on a $500 bond for DUI. Also noting, and which is still pending, also noting the allegation made by the alleged victim that they had both been drinking at the incident location.
Okay, defense?
We're requesting a lower bond. Your Honor, once again, Ms. Marish is here. I would also be requesting that there not be a no contact order. Ms. Marish would indicate to the court that she's not in fear, that this incident, regardless of what the probable cause affidavit says, she's ready to swear under oath that the incident did not occur as the way the affidavit records it. And her injuries there were none.
Okay, all right, if she wants to come up and testify.
Okay.
With regard to contact. Madam Clerk, if you could swear her in and have her state her first and last name, spell her last name.
Joanna Marish, Marish.
Okay, you may proceed.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Marish. How do you know Mr. Lapointe?
We've been dating on and off for a year.
Okay. With regards to the incident that occurred around 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, Sunday morning, tell us a little bit about what happened.
It was 3 o'clock in the morning. It was all a misunderstanding. We obviously got in an argument, nothing physical. He never touched me. I had blood on me all throughout the night because he cut his hand at work really bad the day before. So I had it on me. We were bowling with a bunch of friends. I've had it on me the whole night. It wasn't from the fight because there wasn't a physical fight. He's never hit me. He's clearly a decent sized guy. If he hit me, there would be some sort of mark on me right now.
Are you in fear of Mr. Lapointe?
No.
Do you want to have contact with him?
Yes.
Would you accept him back into your home?
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Marish, did you have an opportunity early in the morning on March 11th to speak with an Officer Savarese from the Davie Police Department? You spoke to an officer, though?
Yes.
And the officer had an opportunity to observe you?
Yes.
So was there blood on your lips?
No.
There was no blood on your
No.
lips?
See, if my lips were bleeding, I would have a cut on them right now because it was Sunday morning.
I'm not asking if you had a cut or not. I'm just asking, just so we can be clear, there was no blood on your lips?
No.
Okay. And were there blood stains on your jeans?
Yes, but that was not from a physical fight.
And there were blood stains on your shirt?
Yes.
And were there blood stains on the driver's side of your vehicle?
Not that I'm aware of.
And did you see Mr. Lapointe's knuckles that evening?
Saw them when he came home from work on Saturday, and he cut them at work.
Did he have blood on his knuckles when the police arrived early that morning?
Sure he did, because he had blood on his knuckles all weekend long.
But to be clear, did he have blood on his knuckles at the time the police were at the scene?
I'm not sure. I didn't see when they were talking to him. I didn't see him at that point anymore.
Did you tell law enforcement that both of you had been drinking at the above location?
Yes.
Did you tell law enforcement that he threw you across the parking lot?
Absolutely not.
And did you tell him that he struck you several times?
Absolutely not.
So what you're saying today is that Officer Savarese is making this up?
I didn't really say anything to them because I was kind of out of it. I don't remember much. They were adamant of telling me what happened to me. And
So
if that's what's on there, then yes, he did make that up.
So wait, you just said you don't remember much?
I was drinking.
I know, but I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. You said you didn't remember much.
Yes.
So is it possible that you did tell the officer that, but don't remember telling him?
No.
Your Honor, I have nothing further.
Okay, the court's gonna, how much bond can he afford?
At this point, Your Honor, I know he's not working that much. According to Ms. Marish, they'd be able to afford $100 to a bondsman, so $1,000 bond, Judge.
Okay, court's gonna order $1,000 bond, TAD monitor, no alcohol or intoxicants, no victim contact in person, that's without prejudice, for you to go before, this is a Judge McHugh case, correct? Before Judge McHugh, she'll be returning next week, okay? Thank you. Good luck to you, ma'am. Yes, you're welcome. Okay, thank you very much. Good luck to you, ma'am. Okay, we're gonna take one at a turn. Michael. Okay, Madam Clerk, this is in person only. They're allowed to talk on the phone, text, it's just in person only. No victim contact in person. Good morning, sir, how are you? Come on up. You have Michael Lifesti?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here for Larry Walk, who's in Oregon.
Okay,
He probably can be reached by phone if you'd like to talk to him.
sure.
His-
Why don't you come on up?
Hello?
Mr. Walk?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good morning. This is Judge Malika calling you from First Appearance Court.
Hey,
I
Judge,
have,
how you doing?
good, how are you? I have a bondsman here, Broward
Yes,
Bail Bonds, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I also have Michael Lefesti. I hope I'm saying that right. Okay.
Correct. I'm actually out in Oregon right now.
Oh, okay, nice place to be.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I've been in contact with his mother multiple times. I'm not sure if he's got any priors, Judge. He's got a good job with CETO, from what I understand.
okay.
His
All right, well, let
parents
me
think
just tell you what, let me just tell
Yeah.
him at least what he's charged with. How do you say your last name, sir? Hit the button.
Lifesti, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Lifesti. You're charged with one count of burglary, occupied dwelling, unarmed. Need to talk about bond. And then count 2 is possession of cannabis, 20 grams or less. Court does find probable cause. Case, we are gonna order, no, unless you have an objection, Mr. Walk, to a probable cause argument.
Yes, no, at this point, I don't have a probable cause argument. Judge, other than the fact that we believe someone put something in his drink.
Okay.
I'm just asking Your Honor to give me a reasonable bond.
All right, State, what are you asking for? You
Your
can hit
Honor-
the mute button, sir, so, your attorney can hear. There's a button there? Okay.
Your Honor, I've spoken to Mr. Wolk about this case this morning, and he provided me information, which I've taken into consideration. I think a reasonable bond, taking in all consideration of all the allegations, also considering that this was someone's home, and it was an occupied home.
Okay, so did the two of you come to an agreement?
No, Your Honor, well, we didn't get into specific amounts.
Okay.
Your Honor,
What are you asking for?
I'd be requesting a $10,000 bond.
Okay, Mr. Walk?
I'll be asking for a $5,000 bond, maybe with pre-trial. He's got a good job. He's got a job waiting for him right now with CETO.
How long has he been with CETO?
No, today would be his first day, which is a really good job, because you gotta pass a lot of licensing.
Okay, the court's gonna order no victim contact, sir, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim with the initials MJA. That means no contact through third parties, no contact in person, on the phone, texting, social media, liking, not liking anything. The court will set a $6,000 bond,
Okay.
okay?
Thank you very much, Judge.
You're welcome. Good luck to you, sir. Want to tell him anything, sir?
Charge two?
Oh, hold on, let me see. It was a, yeah, that's an ROR automatically, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, you're welcome. You're welcome. Have a nice trip. Okay, Edwidge Adamar, and then Zachary Smith.
He's here, Judge?
Okay, sir, are you Mr. Adhamir, or Adhamar?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did I say that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Sir, you have a driving while license is suspended without knowledge, and you have a KPS misdemeanor for, let's see.
Cannabis.
Hello, we have one person. Okay, right after this one, we'll get to you. For a no-show at a you're right, possession of cannabis under 20 grams. State, does he want to try to resolve it today?
Your Honor, it's at a Veterans Court, that's why Judge American made it no bond.
All right, so there's no bond on the KPS misdemeanor.
Judge, what we're gonna be asking for is, in speaking to Mr. Adamar, he said he's been going to, Veterans Court for a while now. I guess he's been there about 2 months. He says, from what he advised me, he has a court notice in his, possession at home that has his next court date being May 5th. So he's kind of at a loss to see why the KPS was issued in the first place. If the state can confirm or verify that he does have a future court date of May 5th, it kind of lends credibility to the story that he didn't willfully miss. I would then be asking you to consider an R-war on his behalf, Judge.
Doesn't, Your Honor. His last hearing was February 5th. And I'm looking at the court notice in Odyssey, which he was present and hand-delivered for a status on February 12th, which he did not appear on, and Judge Merrigan issued this capias. Because the capias wasn't served, there is no next court date.
Okay, so he has a court date, 3/19, which is actually next Monday. Mr.
Judge,
Romero,
Mr.
you're off.
Adamir has wants to address the court. I have already advised him not to speak about facts of his case.
Go ahead, sir.
Ma'am, I've been to my last court date. I really don't know what's going on. And they gave me a paper that says your next court date is May 5th. So I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand. I'm
Who do
going
you
to.
live with, sir?
Hey,
Who do you
I'm
live
going
with?
to the.
Who do you live with?
I live by myself, ma'am. I'm a disabled patient from the Navy. I don't know what's going on, really. I'm going through the process to get that cleaned up. I'm going to things that in the hospital to help me with all that kind of stuff. I'm going to veteran court. I don't know why I'm here.
He lives in Lauderhill, Judge. He does have a valid address. He tells me he lives by himself. He's on disability. He served in the United States Navy from 2002 to 2010, and that's why he's eligible to go to Veterans Court. He's adamant that he has some sort of notice in his possession at home that indicated May 5th. That's when he thought his future court date was, and that's when he was intending on returning. Now that he knows his court date is March 19th, he will be there. Judge,
Well,
I
this is
understand.
the problem. The court set his date. The court did a no-show status capias. So tell you what, I'm gonna leave the no bond in place. The driving while license is suspended, is not for magistrate court. Have someone contact Judge Merrigan and see if they can get him in tomorrow or something, okay? Because he does do the VOPs, obviously. Maybe they can get him in there. Good luck to you, sir.
Judge, he also self-surrendered himself back in March of 2016 when this case initially came to light. So it doesn't appear as though he's a flight risk to keep him in. It's almost like he's being punished because he's a veteran. If he was not a veteran, He would just be going to, you could resolve the case today. To hold a guy no bond on possession of cannabis less than 20 grams after he served our country and is disabled as a result, I can't see Judge Merrigan being behind something like that. I mean, I think if
So
if
why, Judge Merrigan signed the order, let somebody from your office contact Judge Merrigan and get him in tomorrow. They have the VOPs that are heard every day. I'm sure he'll accommodate you.
I'll see what we can do.
If he intended it. Judge Merrigan's the veteran judge. He's more equipped to deal with it. And he signed the KPs for that. Thank you.
Do you have
Next
him?
one, Zachary
Okay.
Colin Smith.
Judge Pompano would like one taken out of turn.
Sure.
It's a Douglas McDougal, or David McDougal. He's about 5 more cases down the road
Okay,
from where
and
we
then
just
we're
were.
gonna do the Spanish interpreter. Okay, is your name David McDougal, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir, you are charged with 1 count, touch or strike battery, and count 2 is trespass, failure to leave property upon order by owner. Court did previously find probable cause on March 2nd, 2018. We do need to determine bond and all the conditions. I'm glad you're back, sir. We had, so it is 3-2. Okay, sir, so I'm gonna tell you right from the outset, you're not to have any contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim, Russell Akung, A-K-E-U-N-G, and you're not to return to the shell at 2090 West Oakland Park Boulevard, Oakland Park, Florida. No contact, direct or indirect, sir, means no contact in person, no contact via telephone, texting, blogging, or through third parties. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Does anybody wish to be heard with regard to bond at $1,000?
I didn't get to talk to him, Judge, because they just bought him down because of
Okay.
his medical condition. Mr. McDougal, do you have any money?
My brothers do.
Who does?
My brother.
You want me to call him for you?
His name is Michael. My brother's name Michael. He said, call you, bro. I don't have no cell phone, but if he said, he'll pay my bond. But if it is not possible, can I get out without a bond?
I think Mr.
He's out
McDougal,
of state.
Mr. McDougal is asking for an ROR, Judge, or pretrial release.
Well, he said his brother can bond him out, didn't he?
He's out of town.
Okay,
Okay.
State, what are you asking for?
Frankly, and I don't know if she'll accept it or not. I think she might because this isn't her usual battery, but I think it needs to go to Lerner Rent to at least have her look at it.
Yeah, that may not be a terrible idea.
Okay, let's leave the $1,000 bond in place and transfer to Judge Wren. So he'll go there tomorrow?
I'm gonna text her right now.
Okay, sir, we're gonna transfer your case to Judge Lerner Wren, okay? And
Okay,
maybe you wanna
call
call
my
her up and tell her about it. What, sir?
My brother needs to know where I'm at.
Okay, do you have his number, sir?
Hey, you got my brother's phone number? You. I mean, the sergeant alert. The sergeant alert just gave me his phone number. It is 215,
215.
83. I can't see.
Madam Deputy, or Deputy, sir, maybe you can read it for us?
Yes, it's 215 609 8315.
Okay, thank you. And
What's the
his
gentleman's
name?
name?
Michael.
Okay, thank you.
He needs to know now. Because
All right, I'll call your brother for you, Mr. McDougal.
you will?
I will.
All right, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
So when will I get out?
You're going to go to court hopefully tomorrow morning in front of Judge Lerner Wren.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you, Honor.
All right.
Thanks, sir, ma'am. It's over.
Okay. All right, we're gonna take Jorge Bustos Fontiffs.
He's here present, Judge Amin.
Okay, good morning.
Buenos días.
Okay,
Buenos días.
Good morning.
if you could raise your right hand.
Por favor, levante la mano derecha. Oh, yo se perdone.
Do you swear and or affirm to translate from Spanish to English, English to Spanish to the best of your ability?
I do. María Salazar, Certified Court Interpreter.
Okay. The court reporter has been asking us to have everybody spell their last name.
Salazar.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Fontiffs,
Señor Ponte.
you're charged with count 1, operating without a valid DL.
Señor, a usted se le acusa en el primer cargo de manejar un vehículo sin licencia,
Leaving the scene of a crash involving damage to property.
irse de la escena de un accidente con daño a la propiedad y a las personas.
Court does find probable cause.
La Corte encuentra que hay causa probable para la acusación.
Bond set at $100 on the leaving the scene of the crash.
Se le va a cobrar $100 de fianza por irse de la escena del accidente.
You also have the careless driving, which
También tiene usted una acusación de manejo temerario,
is a civil traffic infraction.
que es una ticket de tránsito.
Anybody want to be heard with regard to the $100 bond?
Si hay alguien que quiera ser escuchado por lo de los $100 de fianza.
Judge, we're only going to be asking you to sign an order allowing access to his phone contacts so we can call someone.
Está pidiendo su abogado que la jueza le dé permiso para usar el teléfono, para ponerse en contacto con una persona para la fianza.
Okay, your request is granted, Mr. Romero.
Se le otorga esa petición.
$100 bond.
$100 de fianza
Okay, good luck to you, sir.
y que tenga buena suerte.
Okay, Madam Interpreter, if you could make an announcement.
Yes. ¿Hay alguien más que necesite la intérprete de español? No, Your Honor.
No, Judge.
Okay, North Broward, Spanish interpreter.
Intérprete en español.
North Broward, anybody there? Okay, Conti, anybody need an interpreter?
¿Alguien necesita un intérprete de español?
Anybody at Conti? Anybody at Paul Ryan need an interpreter? No? All right, thank
All right.
you very much.
You're welcome, Your
Have
Honor.
a great day. Zachary Colin Smith, and then we have Zachary Rashad Isaac. Then we have William Allen.
Mr. Zachary Smith is here present, Judge Amin.
Okay, good morning, sir. You're charged with 1 count possession of drug paraphernalia. Court does find probable cause. Bond set at $100.
In speaking with Mr. Smith, he wishes to ask the court if you would consider resolving this case today for adjudication time served, Judge.
State,
It's fine, Judge.
does he have any priors?
Yes,
Oh, he does.
yes.
All right, sir, raise your right hand. Do you swear and or affirm to tell the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, your name's Zachary Colin Smith, S-M-I-T-H.
Yes, ma'am.
It's my understanding you wish to waive your right to a trial, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody forcing you to do this?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medication?
No, ma'am.
Okay, sir, you want to plead no contest to drug possession of drug paraphernalia?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the court's going to accept your plea, find that's freely and voluntarily entered. The court has reviewed the court file and finds probable cause for the plea. Adjudicate, time served, $293. How much time to pay?
Judge, he's requesting 6 months.
Okay, Mr. Romero, if you could tell Mr. Smith what happens if he doesn't pay the $293 in 6 months, okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. You have 30 days to appeal the sentence to the court. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed.
Judge, I believe before Zachary Smith, I don't know if maybe his paperwork got stuck. We had Mr. Aaron Davis, or I don't know if it's later on in your paperwork.
Okay, I have Zachary Rashad Isaac is next.
Okay, Mr. Isaac is here. Mr. Isaac, come on up.
I don't have a Davis in here, I don't know what happened. Bond was posted for, who? Aaron Davis, bond was posted.
Oh, Aaron David Bond is posted?
Yes.
I'll let him know.
Okay, is your name Zachary Rashad Isaac, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir, you have a capias for petty theft, bond set at $500.
Mr. Isaac is also under the belief that his bond may have been posted. Is there any way to check on Mr. Isaac's status?
After this case, it's gonna be William Allen, and then Edwin Alonzo Reyes. Has not been posted, bond set at $500.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. There you go. Okay, next one is William Allen, and then Edwin Alonzo Reyes.
Mr. Allen is in North Broward.
Okay, Mr. William Allen, you are
Good morning,
charged.
how are you?
Good morning, sir. How are you feeling?
So far, I feel better.
Okay, good. All right, sir, you're charged with criminal mischief between $200 and $1,000. Any objection to probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, the court does find probable cause. Bond set at $100. Anybody wish to be heard?
Judge, I'd ask you to consider releasing Mr. Allen. He was staying at the First Step Sober House. He indicates to me that he would be welcome back there. He has been working construction. That's how he pays his rent at First Step Sober House, because nobody stays there for free. He has been living here in the South Florida community for the last 6 years. We'd actually like to resolve the case, but I don't know if any issues of restitution would prevent us from doing that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, that's what I had thought. I mean, he does want to ultimately resolve it.
It says his address is 1040 Bayview Drive, and then it says at large. Do you have a mailing address, sir?
Yeah, that's my mailing address, the 1040 Bayview Drive, man.
Any apartment number?
Suite 610.
All right, you gonna show up for court if I ROR you?
I promise, I can't say the last name, but I promise, Judge.
It's Malika, but that's okay.
I promise, Ms. Malika.
Okay, good luck to you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Edwin Reyes?
Mr. Reyes is here present, Judge Emaine.
Okay, Mr. Reyes, you have 1 count of aggravated battery causing bodily harm or disability, burglary with assault or battery across county lines, and then criminal mischief over $1,000. We have to set bond on counts 1 and 2, and count 3 is $500 for the criminal mischief. Any objection to probable cause?
No, ma'am.
Okay, the court does find probable cause. The court's gonna order no victim contacts are direct or indirect with the alleged victims in the case, and they have the initials INF and, so it's INF and KUB. That means, sir, no contact through third parties, in person, texting, on the phone, through social media, liking, disliking anything. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Your Honor, count 2 is a punishable by life offense.
okay,
I spoke with the alleged victims this morning,
okay,
and they are both in fear for their safety,
okay.
particularly the safety of the children that reside in the home as well. And It's their belief the only way to ensure the safety at this point in time is with a no bond hold. I would note the allegations do satisfy the elements. Appears there's multiple witnesses, noting Ms. Race's daughter identified him as the aggressor, Your Honor.
Okay, do we need to make a report?
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
Do we need to make a report since there was a daughter there?
What I'll do, Your Honor, is I'll reach out to the deputy that made the arrest and bring it,
Okay.
if CPIS hasn't been called, I'll bring it to his attention.
Okay, so you're seeking proof, evident, presumption, great.
Yes, ma'am.
And we would object to the court making that finding based on the probable cause affidavit submitted to the court. Proof, evident, presumption grade is the highest standard we have in the legal system. The state's called no witnesses, presented no physical evidence, only introduced a probable cause affidavit, which we would maintain is insufficient for a finding of holding someone without bond. Also, it appears as though Mr. Reyes was instructed to meet with deputies at the nearby mobile gas station, which he did do. He did not flee the scene. He had met with the detectives or the deputies there at the mobile gas station where he was arrested after his daughter indicated that he was the aggressor in the incident, and apparently taken into custody without incident. So he's not a flight risk because he was already there. He will abide by any no contact order that the court chooses to issue. But to hold him no bond, Judge, I don't think is warranted under these facts.
Well, it's the court's position that, and I'm not saying I'm gonna do this or not do this, but if there's a finding of proof, evident, presumption, great, I also can set a bond.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, tell me about his priors.
I believe there are no priors, Your Honor. And, Your Honor, if the court is not gonna hold him no bond, then I would just ask if I could speak as to bond and release conditions.
All right, sir, I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit filed in your case, and I do find probable cause. I further find the proof of guilt to be evident or the presumption great. The court is gonna discuss bond. The court is inclined not to hold him without bond based on, the alleged facts, I should say, of this case. So let's talk about bond, and I already ordered no contact. I'll do no return. I'll do GPS level 2. State?
Your Honor, in addition to everything the court has already ordered, obviously we'd ask for no firearms, weapons, or ammunition as well.
Okay. So, sir, there's also no firearms or ammunition, and if you do possess any, you're to surrender them immediately to your local law enforcement. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Your Honor, state would be requesting a $5,000 bond on one, $20,000 bond on two, for the reasons I stated earlier, specifically the allegations and safety concerns that both victims share. And it does appear that this also occurred in the presence of children.
You're gonna call the police officer, correct?
I will, Your Honor.
Okay, tell me where your client lives and address the bond.
Judge, right now he's 33 years old. He is working. He works for MTI America in medical dispatch. He's been with that company now for about 1 year, making $13.50 an hour. He lives in Fort Lauderdale. He's renting a room at a home. His monthly rent is about $540. The person he's going to be contacting is his brother. His brother works at a pawn shop, so he's the one financially putting up the bond on Mr. Reyes' behalf. As you heard, Judge, his record is clean. We'd be consider setting a $2,500 bond for count 1 and a $5,000 bond on count 2. Along with count 3, that would be a total of $8,000. That's still steep, but we do understand the circumstances, the allegations. We feel that's reasonable on Mr. Reyes' behalf, Judge.
Okay, 25 on 1, 5 on 2, 5 on 3. No victim contact, direct or indirect, with INF, KUB. No return to the residence. And you're to maintain 1,000 feet from the 3508 Northwest 23rd Street. GPS Level 2, no possession of firearms or ammunition, and if you do possess any, to surrender them to your local police department immediately upon your release. Thank you, sir.
What was the bond on count 3, Judge?
500.
Thank you.
It's a standard. 2,500, 5,000. You're welcome. Okay, Travis Jadil Ward, and then we have Brian Fitzpatrick Rumis.
He's approaching, Judge.
Okay. Do you need me to repeat it again? No, we got it. Okay, I just want to make sure. I'm sorry. Okay, Mr. Ward, you are charged with driving a license is suspended, habitual. I believe they're charging you as a felony. Yes, they are. $750 bond. You also have a parole violation. The court does find probable cause. You're going to be held no bond on the parole violation. Does anybody want to address the driving while license is suspended bond?
Not at this time, Judge, considering he has a no bond hold.
Okay. All right, thank you. Good luck to you, sir. Sir, which case are you here on?
Giovanni Spencer, Your Honor. He's, last one, he's probably a lot of cases. He's a
the last
juvenile
one. Okay.
that was direct filed, Your Honor. Steve Melnick on behalf of Mr. Spencer.
Hello.
Just very limited appearance, just for bond purposes. And I'll be meeting with his mother and his aunt today and explaining some things to them.
Okay, State, if you can announce. Let me call the case. Giovanni Spencer, counsels, announce your appearance for the record.
Eric Linder on behalf of the state.
Steve Melnick is in a limited appearance only for magistrate court, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, sir, Mr. Spencer, you're charged with one count, burglary, unoccupied structure, unarmed. You need to talk about bond, grand theft auto, $1,000, home invasion with a firearm or other deadly weapon. You need to talk about bond, robbery or firearm, no bond. Burglary of an unoccupied conveyance, unarmed. We need to talk about bond, fraud or attempt to use the ID of another without consent. Bond's $1,000, larceny, lost or delivered by mistake, credit card, $100 bond, burglary, unoccupied conveyance, unarmed. We need to talk about bond, grand theft auto, $1,000 bond. And then we have count 10, burglary of an unoccupied conveyance, unarmed. We need to talk about bond. Any objection to probable cause?
Your Honor, for the record, Mr. Spencer, these cases are at least almost a year old.
Okay,
And they were all in front of, I believe, Judge Williams,
okay,
if I'm correct, Mr. Linder. These cases were, and then they were eventually just recently direct filed and bumped up.
okay.
So,
All right, I understand. So court does find probable cause. Let's talk about bond.
Your Honor, on counts 3 and 4, they're both, and these are direct files, they're both punishable by life offenses. For first appearance purposes, the state is going to be seeking a finding of proof evident or presumption great with a no
On
bond
3 and
hold
4?
on 3 and 4, with the understanding that clearly the defense can seek an Arthur hearing in front of Judge Merrigan to have these matters reviewed.
Okay,
Your Honor, I had spoken with the state. His arraignment, I believe, if the clerk can check, is set for tomorrow, and Judge Merrigan on all of these cases. He also has holds from Collier County and
think
Miami-Dade County. So as far as setting a bond on those two counts, it's kind of a waste to do that at this point in time because he's not bondable and he's not releasable because of the other county holds. And we'd ask if you could, on the other counts which are bondable, since he's got all those other holds out there, if you could just ROR him on those, it's not gonna really matter. It just makes it a little easier.
okay,
For us.
court's not gonna, I'm not gonna ROR him.
But you'd make
It's just-
$100 if you could. Thank you.
Okay, hold on 1 second. So you want me to find proof evident presumption great. You have no objection without prejudice,
Yeah,
correct?
Your Honor, we would prefer not to find proof evident presumption great, to just defer and let Judge Merrigan decide on that matter as far as counts 3 and counts 4 go. Only. Rather than concede that issue at this point in time.
Okay, court's gonna go ahead, because this is first appearance court.
Correct.
We're not gonna leave it to Judge Merrigan to do. But you can certainly, if you wanna make an argument for, that there isn't proof evident presumption great, that's fine. I'll do it without prejudice. Okay, so State, what are you asking for on, do you agree $100 bond on count 1, the other ones that say HG?
No, I think appropriate bonds have to be set, and it has to be set under all the circumstances. I'm gonna
Okay,
be
so
asking.
let me go to the, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, it's just, on the burglary offenses,
Mhm.
which are the only remaining charges that were bonds, they're hold for magistrates. I'm requesting 5,000 per count in light of the other allegations and the, out-of-county hold.
Okay, so that would be 1, 3,
No,
oh wait, I'm sorry, 1, 5, right?
yes, ma'am.
And 8?
8,
8 and 10.
10 didn't, it's not in this sheet, so it's not.
It's not there? No,
No.
it's on, I have it on the booking.
Yeah,
I have it on my sheet.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit, sir, filed in your case, and I find probable cause. I further find the proof of guilt to be evident or the presumption great, therefore, on counts 3 and 4, you're gonna be held without bond until further order of the court. This, of course, is without prejudice for you to file a motion to set bond with the assigned division judge and request a hearing under State v. Arthur. The court on count 1, 5, 8, and 10 is gonna set the bond at $5,000, 1,000 on count 2. Yes, 1, 5, 8, and 10 is 5,000. 1, 5, 8, and 10. So I'll go down the list. Count 1 is 5,000, count 2 is 1,000. Counts 3 and 4 is no bond. Count 5 is 5,000, count 6 is 1,000, count 7 is 100, count 8 is 5,000, count 9 is 1,000, and count 10 is 5,000. You need me to repeat anything? Everybody okay?
And, Your Honor, the only other request I'm gonna make is for an order of no victim contact. And, when the court's ready, I have the initials of the various alleged
Okay,
victims.
sir, the court's also gonna order no victim contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victims, which means no contact in person, by telephone, texting, no contact via social media through third parties. And when I say social media, it means no liking, disliking, commenting to any posts, and the like. Who are the alleged victims? The initials?
NM,
Okay,
YO,
okay,
AR,
okay,
BF,
yes,
JMG,
okay.
BJ.
Okay, sir, the no contact is with the alleged victim with the initials NMYO, AR, BF, JMG, and BJ. Okay, sir, good luck to you. So he's going before Judge,
Harrigan tomorrow. It's in the computer, I believe. It says set for 3:13
Okay.
arraignment.
All right,
Thank you, Your Honor. Bye.
Thank you, have a
Bye,
good
Mr.
day.
Reedy.
Good morning. All right, so the next person we have is Brian Fitzpatrick Roomis. Okay,
Is here present, Judge?
Mr. Roomis, you have driving while license is suspended, third or subsequent offense. The court does find probable cause. Bond set at $750. It's being charged as a felony. Anybody wish to be heard?
Yes, Judge.
Go ahead.
Judge, and Mr. Rooms, he's 35 years old. He's been living in our community for about 25 years now. He is employed, works at Labor Ready. It's, he gets paid whenever he goes there and works. It gets average about
Is it a
$60
labor pool?
when he goes. It's a labor pool, correct,
Okay.
Judge. Besides, he only gets paid $60 a whole day, but he has expenses, Judge. He pays child support. He pays $135 per month.
Okay, so
He
what are you
lives in-
asking for, Mr. Romero?
Judge, I'm going to be asking, considering this a nonviolent offense, standard free trial.
State?
Fine with pretrial.
Okay, standard pretrial, ROR.
Thank you, Judge.
Let me just, oh, he has to verify, let me just do his address, hold on. Your address, sir, 3389 Lago del Tavero?
Yes.
Does that have a street name? Like drive, street, avenue, place?
No, it does not. 3389 Lago de Talavera.
Lake Worth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir, if you change your address, it's your responsibility to notify the clerk, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
As soon as
What case are you
go
here
to
on,
report
ladies?
your pretrial, okay? There's the map. Okay. So you can go that way. Go outside that way. Am I in the
Okay. Okay, Edwin Knowles, what's the first name?
Never mind.
Mr. Knowles is here, present, Judge, I may?
Okay, Mr. Knowles, you are charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill. We need to talk about bond, as well as count 2, which is possession of a weapon or ammo by a convicted Florida felon. Count 3 is touch or strike battery, bond's been set at $1,000. And count 4 is criminal mischief between $200 and $1,000. Court does find probable cause. Court is going to order no victim contact. Direct or indirect, sir, with the alleged victims with the initials BN or and CW. No contact, direct or indirect, sir, means no contact in person, through cell phone, texting, social media sites, or through third parties. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, the court's also going to order you not to possess, no possession of any firearms or ammunition. State?
Your Honor, his criminal history, 06 grand theft, uttering a forged instrument, he was convicted. 05 misdemeanor
Did he go
battery,
to prison on that?
no. 05 misdemeanor battery, resisting without violence. Your Honor, I'm gonna be requesting a $10,000 bond on one, $5,000 bond on two. And, Your Honor, I'm gonna be requesting pretrial release with a GPS monitor.
Okay, Mr. Romero, tell me what your client does.
Judge, right now he works at City Furniture. He's does delivery. He's been there for about 2 years now. He makes roughly about $500 per week. He advised me he had to be here this morning. He had to be at work in the morning. Hopefully that this doesn't, his job is not in jeopardy. Having said that, Judge, from what the state mentioned, I believe his last contact was 2006. I don't think I heard the state said it was violent in nature.
It says he had Mr. Romero, just to let you know, says there was blood involved, fresh blood on them, and there was a firearm involved. So go ahead. Just wanted you to know that.
Right, but what I was referring to as far as his priors, I don't think there were none as far as violent in nature. He lives in Fort Lauderdale with his wife. They've been living in the same premises for about 4 years. Their monthly rent is $800. Judge, from what he advised me, him and the wife have like some sort of joint account, and the most that they have in there is $300. So having said that, Judge, at this time, we're going to be asking Your Honor to consider setting a bond of $1,000 on count 1, $1,000 on count 2, leaving the bonds in place on counts 3 and 4. Therefore, they'd be able to maybe come up with the premium using a bondsman. Judge, and also we'd ask you to sign an order allowing us to photograph Mr. Knowles' injuries.
Okay, the court will grant your request. Court is going to set a bond on count 1 at $7,500. Count 2, the court will set at $500. Count 3 is $1,000. Count 4 is $100. No victim contact, no possession of firearms, GPS level 2. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Raven Billy Thomas, and then Pedro Rolford.
Mr. Thomas is approaching, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Thomas, good morning, sir. You're charged with count
Good
1,
morning.
burglary, unoccupied conveyance unarmed across county lines. Count 2 is resisting an officer without violence. You need to set bond on 1. Count 2 is ROR. Any objection to probable cause?
Count 1 looks more like an attempt to me, Judge.
Okay, state.
It's fine.
Okay, court finds PC for attempt only. On count 1, let's talk about bond. State.
Your Honor, I'd be requesting a $2,000 bond on count 1.
Okay, tell me about his priors.
Your Honor, I have nothing on him on the system. I don't even have any type of local ID.
Billy was recently released from Florida State Prison, January of this year.
Mr. Raven Billy Thomas.
No, sorry, Your Honor, I retract that statement. Hold on one moment.
Do we have any priors for him?
Okay, he goes by,
He has an alias.
yes, an alias of Raven Scott Billy. Okay.
Raymond Scott Billy.
Raven Scott Billy, yes, Your Honor. And Raven Scott Billy was recently released from Florida State Prison.
For what?
One moment, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
Hold on, let her tell me what
For
it is.
burglary armed with weapon and grand theft firearm.
yeah, and Your Honor, because I didn't realize that, I also see he's got a warrant.
At a where?
Checking that. Probation violation. No,
At a where?
it's at a Collier County judge. And
Is it a
it's-
no bond hold?
I don't know, and it looks like it looks like the armed burglary grand theft firearm, it was prison followed by probation, because that's what, it is a no bond on both counts.
He has a no bond hold in Collier County.
Yes. Your Honor, I'm sorry, and I didn't realize all this when,
I understand, so what are you asking for bond?
Your Honor, I'm asking for a $10,000 bond, also noting in this case, he was giving fake, names, which leads me to believe he,
Come on in. Welcome.
it's reasonable to believe he was aware he has a warrant and was trying to avoid, possibly getting, picked up on that warrant.
Okay, so Mr. Romero, $10,000 bond, he has no bond hold at a Collier County for a VOP, and he just was released from prison.
Judge, we're gonna be asking, for the $2,000 bond, which the originally the state mentioned. He's 24 years old at this time, he's unemployed, he's looking for work. He lives with his father, so therefore he's financially indigent. Considering the circumstances, sometimes be asking for maybe ROR pretrial. I understand because of the situation, of course, we're gonna be reluctant to do that, so that's why we feel like a $2,000 bond is gonna be appropriate, considering he's not going anywhere, he's gonna be on no bond, Judge.
Your Honor, he doesn't have a no bond hold placed on him at the moment. There is a no bond warrant out of Collier County. But also in 2016, he was convicted out of Oklahoma for false personation, and there was a charge, flight to avoid Florida.
Okay. No victim contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim with the initials ADG, GPS level 2, $10,000 bond on 1, ROR count 2. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Pedro Thomas Rolfot, and then Craig Mark Fainer. Mr. Rolfot, come on up. Mr. Rolfot, you have count 1, grand theft auto, count 2, possession of cannabis, 20 grams or less, bond set at $1,000. Any objection to probable cause, and anybody want to be heard with regard to bond?
No objection to probable cause.
Okay, does anybody want to be heard, Mr. Romero, with regard to the $1,000 bond?
Yes, Judge, and speaking Mr. Walcott, he's gonna be asking Your Honor to consider pretrial release. I don't know if the state has an objection before I go on.
Your Honor, I do. He's had federal priors where he, looks like he was sentenced to the Bureau of Prisons, followed by supervised release. This was out of the state of New York from '09. He violated his conditional release.
What was he at one, what was federal?
It was, felony, federal drug law violations.
Okay,
When he violated his conditional release in 2012, he was sentenced to 3 years with the Bureau of Prisons.
okay, anything else you have? He just has the one charge? When
all
did
it-
that end?
Well, I don't know when he was released from, federal prison.
Sir, is your mailing address still 941 Southwest 122nd Ave, Pembroke Pines?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Because it was talking about an eviction So I don't know if you're still there or you have another mailing address you could use.
No, I can still use the mailing address at the moment.
Okay. All right, so defense, you're asking for standard pretrial?
That is correct, Judge.
Okay, court's gonna order ROR, standard pretrial. Sir, it's your responsibility to make sure that you update your address in writing with the clerk of the court immediately, because if you don't, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have a capias issued for your arrest if you, don't show up to court, okay? Good luck to you, sir. Sir, also, he has to report by tomorrow. I mean, if he gets out today in time.
Right. I think you'll be released early enough today, so as soon as you get home, go ahead and report that. For some reason it's too late. Tomorrow, first thing in the morning, okay, Joe? Sir?
I thought I was gonna postpone this.
Does he want a bond out?
Oh, I apologize, Judge. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I apologize. So you think you're going to be able? Okay, Judge. Well, that's if you go tomorrow. Okay. Okay, Judge. Okay. Judge,
I have the paperwork back. I'm sorry, Madam Clerk.
I apologize, Judge. It seemed like he didn't understand. I guess maybe I got confused in explaining to him that if he goes to a bondsman, she can come up with the 10%. So I guess.
Okay,
Judge,
court will keep the bond at $1,000.
Thank you, Judge. I apologize.
That's okay.
It was my fault. He
Whoops.
told me before and I forgot.
Here you go, Madam Clerk. I made a little bit of a mess. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay, Craig Mark Fainer, and then we have Robert John Hicks.
Mr. Fainer's in North Broward, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Fainer. Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Okay.
Okay, count one is petty theft, second degree, third subsequent offense. You're being charged as a felony, $750 bond, and on counts 2 and 3, you're gonna be ROR'd. So, false ID given to Leo and possession of drug paraphernalia. Any objection to probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, court finds probable cause. Does anybody want to be heard with regard to the $750 bond?
Your Honor, based on this court's finding of probable cause, the defendant is under pretrial supervision in case number 18-1353MM10A. We'd be asking that you revoke his pretrial supervision in that case.
Okay, what's that charge?
Petty theft.
Okay, state.
Your Honor, in light of the fact that was out on pretrial for a theft-related offense, I believe the bond's appropriate.
Okay, what kind of bond are you requesting? So you're asking to leave it at the $750?
Yes, yes, Judge.
Okay,
Judge, I don't know that he's gonna be able to make that. He has been living with friends for the last year. He is from Ohio. He's been down here for 1 year. He's given me the name and number of his aunt to call, which I'm going to do to see if maybe she can come up with some money to bond him out. Other than that, I think his chances of making a $750 bond are quite remote. He was stealing, allegedly stealing food, hot dogs and soft drinks. I don't know what the items were in the other case. I think the total was $9 or under $10 of worth of property. He's not stealing clothes, he's stealing food.
I understand. It's not recording or something.
Yeah, I pushed the button by mistake.
Okay.
I'd ask the court not to revoke his pretrial release on the other case, and I'd ask the court to set a $250 bond for Mr. Fainer on this case.
Your Honor, the
Okay.
court should also be aware,
Sure.
because on the case that he's on pretrial, originally that was a felony theft. And he failed there was actually a warrant for him. I guess he failed to even show up at pretrial intake. And they were unable to locate him or reach him. So, and the warrant was vacated because it was downfiled to a misdemeanor, but that's also a concern. The first time he was put on pretrial, he never even reported.
Okay. Sir, there's no return to the racetrack at 599 West Atlantic Boulevard, Pompano Beach. Court's gonna keep the bond at $750. And as far as case number 18-1353, MM10A for the, petty theft, court's gonna revoke your pretrial and set bond at $100. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you. Robert John Hicks, And then Deontay Vashad Owens.
Judge, Mr. Hicks, Defense Service of Public Defender, he has private counsel, Mr. Eric Schwartzreich.
Okay, does anybody want to give Mr. Schwartzreich a call in office and see if he wants to come this morning or this afternoon? All right, we'll recall your case. Did you hire does Mr. Schwartzreich know that you're in jail, sir?
I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure about that. I can't answer that. I hope so, but I don't know.
Okay, Mr. Reedy?
Yeah, he's been retained for quite some time now. I hired him
Okay,
in November.
we'll, call him up, have a seat. If we, we'll ask him if he wants to do it this morning or this afternoon, okay?
There's no way I can speak on my own behalf, or that's not how it works.
Well, you can, but if you have an attorney, let us call him up and just be patient. You're still gonna be here anyway, okay?
Yeah, I just want to sleep.
Deontay Vashad Owens.
Mr. Owens is here present, Judge?
Okay, Mr. Owens, you have failure to surrender driver's license, unlawful speed, and then you have probation violation. You have a no bond hold on the failure to surrender your driver's license, $25 bond. You have a no bond hold. You're going before Judge Ernest Calra on Wednesday at 8:30 a.m.
Your Honor, on count one, I
Yes.
think there was a booking error, because it looks like the intended offense should be operating without a valid DL. The officer put Florida statute 322.03 subsection 1, and when he was booked, it was 322.13.
Okay, so what's the Florida statute number?
322.03
Okay, sir,
subsection
so
1.
I stand corrected. Count one is operating no valid DL, $25 bond. We'll keep that in place unless you folks would like me to ROR him, since he has a no bond hold.
Let me, can I ask Mr. Lunder, was this a 948 arrest on the VOP? Or was
Is this
there
a
already an
Yes, it
outstanding
is.
warrant for a violation?
Yes.
Okay, it is, okay. One moment, Judge, because hold on. Judge, I'd ask you, and this is rare because I normally do not ask for this, I ask you to consider an ROR on count one.
Okay, ROR, count one.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Sir, you have court tomorrow, Wednesday morning, I'm sorry, at 8:30 a.m., okay? Good luck to you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Good luck, sir.
Okay, Derek Paul Francois, and then Alfred Jackson.
Mr. Francois, come on up, please.
Mr. Francois, you're charged with 1 count of grand theft auto and 2 probation violations. You're gonna be held no bond on counts 2 and 3, your probation violations. You're going before Judge Michael Rothschild on Wednesday, March 14th at 8:30 a.m. The grand theft auto bond is set at $1,000. Court does find probable cause. Anybody want to be heard with regard to the $1,000 bond on the grand theft auto? Considering he has 2 no bond holds.
Judge, and that was probable cause for grand theft auto, correct?
Yes.
Judge, considering he has 2 no bond holds, nothing to add at this time, Judge.
Okay, sir, Wednesday morning, 8:30 a.m. before your division judge, Alfred Jackson, and then we have Jason
Jackson.
William Hope. After Mr. Jackson, we have Jason William Hope. Mr. Jackson,
Jackson's here,
good morning, Mr. Jackson. You have false ID given to a Leo. You have a parole violation where you're going to be held no bond. And then you have a capious misdemeanor where you have a $500 bond. You are gonna go on the capious misdemeanor to your division judge, which is Judge Robert Diaz. That is on Thursday at 11 a.m., 3:15 at 11 a.m. Anybody wish to be heard on the $100 bond? Okay, court does find probable cause, so bond is 100 on one, no bond on two. Count three is 500, and he'll see his division judge Diaz on Thursday. Thank you, sir. Next one is Jason William Hope, and then we have William Miller.
Mr. Hope, coming up, please.
Jason William Hope, please.
He's approaching, Judge.
And then we have William Miller. Did anybody
your
ever get in
president.
touch with Mr. Swartzwright's office?
I did, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, grand theft auto, Mr. Hope. Count one, $1,000 bond. Count two is driving while license is suspended, second offense. You're gonna be ROR'd on that. You do have a probation violation or community control. You're gonna be held no bond pending a hearing with your division judge. Does anybody know when he's going before his division judge?
It's out of state,
Oh, it is out of state?
yes. But I think, well, I'll let,
So the grand theft auto was $1,000. So if it's out of state, sir, you might be coming before me for extradition court, or no?
well, the BSO will notify the probation in the other state, and it'll be up to them whether they
Okay.
seek a warrant, but.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes.
Well, Hector, we're not done with him.
Mr. Hope, come on.
Yeah, Mr. Hope is currently on, pretrial supervision in case number 17-9580 CF10A. It's a felony-
9580?
9580, yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
It's a felony petty theft. Based on this court's finding of probable cause, we would be requesting a revocation.
Okay, court's gonna revoke his bond and do a no bond and revoke. Does that go to you? Okay. All right, so 1,000 on one, ROR on two, no bond, out of state, VOP on three. Thank you.
That's it.
William Miller and then Jermaine Dion Cooley.
Mr. Miller's here, Judge Maine.
Okay, Mr. Miller, good morning, sir. You have a grand theft between $300 and $5,000. $1,000 bond has been set. You have also count two, resisting an officer without violence. That one you're gonna be ROR'd on. Any objection to probable cause?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, the court does find probable cause. The court's gonna order no victim contact, direct or indirect. That means no contacts are in person through third parties, calling, social media, with the alleged victim with the initials MAB. Does anybody wish to be heard with regard to the $1,000 bond, the grand theft?
Your Honor, I'm gonna be requesting a $2,500 bond.
Okay.
He's currently on probation, supervision, out of the state of Maryland, where it appears he is, from. Additionally, and that's for, one moment, Your Honor. For possession of marijuana. Was previously on probation out of Maryland for possession of marijuana. He's on probation for assault in the second degree in 2013. Conspiracy to commit burglary in the second degree in 06. And possession of controlled substance, 06. And there's also a warrant for a separate probation violation for the state of Maryland. And that was, looks like that was put in the system March 5th. And I'm sorry, Your Honor, it's actually, he's on probation for possession of controlled substance, not marijuana.
Okay, Mr. Romero?
Judge, in speaking of Mr. Miller, he is from Maryland. He came down to South Florida for treatment. He's currently at the Helping Grace facility, Hope Helping Grace facility in Fort Lauderdale. It's an inpatient treatment center. He's there through his parents' insurance. Judge, at this time, from what he advised me, he financially cannot afford to post a bond. We're going to be asking you, Judge, to consider this is a nonviolent offense. We're going to be asking for you to consider releasing him on pretrial release. If Your Honor feels level 2 is appropriate, level 2, Judge, so that he can continue getting the treatment rather than being here in jail and not getting help for his issues.
Okay, court's gonna order, like I said before, sir, no victim contact, direct or indirect. GPS level 2, I am gonna set a $2,500 bond based on his violations of probation. He's in drug treatment and his prior history. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Jeremy Dion Cooley, and then Philip Leonard Santoro. What happened with Mr. Schwartzwright? I'm glad you got in touch with him.
I did, Judge. I spoke with his office. They have not been retained to represent Mr. Hicks. They will not be joining us this morning. From what I understand, they are having discussions with the family, and they may retain him, but at this point, they have not yet done so.
Okay. Jermaine, are you Jermaine Cooley, sir?
Yes.
Okay, good morning, sir. You have driving while license is suspended as a felony, $750 bond, counts 2 and 3 are gonna be ROR'd on. That is attach a registration or license plate, not a sign, and failure to register a motor vehicle. Anybody want to be heard with regard to probable cause or the $750 bond?
And not as the probable cause, Judge.
Okay, the court finds probable cause. Mr. Romero, you want to comment on the $750 bond?
Not at this time, Judge.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Next one is Robert John Hicks.
Mr. Hicks is here, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Hicks, your family is in negotiations, I guess, with Mr. Schwartzwright about retaining him. Mr. Schwartzwright indicated that he was not going to be joining us today. So I'd like to give you the opportunity, you have the right to an attorney if you can't afford one or have the availability of one today in first appearance court. Would you like to speak to Mr. Romero before we proceed forward, instead of representing yourself?
Yes, we've already spoken briefly, so that's fine.
Okay, good.
We're ready to proceed, Judge.
Okay, so Mr. Hicks, you're charged with 1 count of possession of morphine, $1,000 bond. Counts 2, 3, and 5 are all $1,000 bonds. Count 4 is 100. So it's possession of morphine, possession of hydromorphine, Dilaudid, possession of fentanyl, drug paraphernalia, possess and/or use, and tamper with or fabricate physical evidence. So your total bond is $4,100. Anybody wish to be heard with regard to probable cause?
As to probable cause, Judge.
Okay, the court finds probable cause.
Based on this court's finding of probable cause, the defendant is currently on pretrial supervision for 6 cases. Case number 15-12643 CF10A. Count 1 is dealing in stolen property. Count 2 is false ownership info. Pawn item. Case number 17-628 CF10A. 1 count dealing in stolen property. A 2nd count of false ownership pawn item. Case number 17-0749 CF10A. Grand theft in the 3rd degree. Case number 17-7040 CF10A. Grand theft in the 3rd degree. Case number 17-13288 CF10A. Grand theft in the 3rd degree. Case number 17-0465 CF10A. Grand theft in the 3rd degree. Pretrial will be seeking a revocation on all cases for which he's under supervision.
Your Honor, just so the court's aware, all the cases except for 117-13288, he's actually also currently on probation with pending violation of probation hearings on all
Okay,
those cases.
except for, what is 17-1328?
That's a new unresolved pending case.
But I thought he was on pretrial on these two.
No, he was while on probation. I guess
I see what you're saying, okay.
Judge Rothschild had him supervised by pretrial while he was out on the pending violations of probation.
Okay, well, apparently there's something going on here. I'll let the division judge decide. Court's gonna revoke his pretrial, do no bond on each of the cases. anybody wish to be heard with regard to the $4,100 bond?
Judge, at this time, I understand the situation as far as him having other open offenses. So at this time, monetarily on the 5 counts that are here before you, the defense has nothing to say as far as the bond amount. What I would ask, Judge, on the cases that currently out on pretrial, Judge, he's on probation, so he goes to see his probation officer. So he's being supervised, I believe, by probation and pretrial. My understanding is he's retained local counsel, Mr. Eric Schwartzreich. Those have been open for a couple months now. He's looking forward to his day in court. Judge, I believe the division or judge would be, and the prosecutor would be more in a better position if they feel it's warranted to submit a warrant for revocation of pretrial release conditions. I'd ask you at this time not to take any action on those cases, and I just ask you to leave the standard bonds in place on the cases that for you at this time, Judge.
Okay, court's gonna leave all the bonds in place. Count 1's 1,000, count 2's 1,000, count 3 is 1,000, count 4 is 100, count 5 is $1,000. Court's gonna revoke his bond in case number 15-12643 CF 10A, 17628 CF 10A, 17749 CF 10A, 17704 CF 10A, 17465 CF 10A, and 17-13288 CF 10A. Thank you very much, sir. Good luck to you. Philip Santoro. Is he with us today?
No, Your Honor.
Did we do a probable cause?
I believe we did.
I don't see it here.
I thought we had, I have to
Determined to be
get to my
found, yes.
notes. Oh, I know what I did. I sent someone out to see him, so we're a little concerned. He's been missing for quite a while. So last
Yeah.
week, I sent someone, I asked our office to send somebody to see him. I haven't heard back yet.
Hello. Okay, so he's been in since 2/26. Can you follow up on that maybe today and we'll do a medical reset? So it's been 2 weeks, medical reset. Okay, James Hubbard Wickman, and then we
Mr.
have
Wickman is here
Brian
present, Judge.
Patrick Kelly. I'm sorry.
Mr. Wickman is here present, Judge.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Wickman. You have 1 count of possession of heroin. Court does find probable cause. Anybody want to be heard with regard to the $1,000 bond?
Yes, Judge. Mr. Wickman, he's 24 years old, been living here his whole life. What he does is he works for a concrete company. However, he hasn't worked there for about 2 weeks, so financially can't post bond. What he did is basically he's at Primary Purpose. It's a halfway rehabilitation facility in Fort Lauderdale. Judge, he intends on going there when he gets released, so he's going to be asking Your Honor to consider releasing him on standard pretrial release.
He was at a hotel, the Plantation Motel.
That's where he was at, but his intention, Judge, is to go to Primary Purpose and start seeking help, Judge.
Okay, state.
Do we know, is this a residential or is it outpatient or?
It's a residential facility.
Your Honor, what I would ask then is, I have no objection to pretrial, but I'd ask that it be pending verification. Pretrial can call the facility and confirm not only that they have an availability, but that they will take him.
Okay, this is pending verification of residential placement. Drug. Okay, pending verification of a residential drug facility. He'll get the name to them. Sure, but I also wanted, if he can't get in that one, he has the option to get into another residential inpatient treatment program, okay? All right, so can he repeat that name?
What name were you saying, Judge? I can answer.
The name of the rehab.
Well, Judge, here's the situation. It's Primary Purpose. That's his intent. My question is this.
I put in
let's
there,
say-
any other residential drug rehab.
Or any other residential facility.
Yes.
Put me in one? Like, I don't know if you guys
He's
know
gonna
any
have
other
to
ones.
find it. He's gonna have to.
I mean, I can't be released on my own recognizance? Cause
No.
I'm not gonna run from going to court. I have no intentions on running.
What's his prior history? Can I have the paperwork back? I'm sorry. Hello, how are you today? Good.
I already see once in a 2013 case, he was put on pretrial and picked up for violating pretrial. He was arrested 2016 for failing to appear on a municipal ordinance. He violated probation. Actually, I'm sorry, Judge. He was arrested twice on violation of pretrial release warrants on that case. He
Okay, court's not gonna do it. He's violated pretrial before. It's gotta be pending verification. Okay? What's the name of it, sir?
Any verification, gotcha. Thank you, Judge.
What's the name of it, sir?
Primary purpose.
Where's that located?
That's in Fort Lauderdale, Judge.
Okay, good luck, sir. Brian Patrick Kelly.
What's pending?
Mr. Kelly refused to join us today, Judge.
Okay, he voluntarily decided not to join us and voluntarily absented himself from the court. Okay, any objection, probable cause?
No, Judge. And in light of the no bond holds, I'd ask you to just leave the other bonds in place.
Okay, so count 1 is drug paraphernalia, ROR. Counts 2 and 3 are no bond, those are probation violations. Driving on a permanently revoked DL, $1,000 bond. And count 5 is also, it's a civil traffic infraction, stop sign. Okay,
I'm showing him as already being held no bond on that case. That's what the docket says.
What he was being held on, Your Honor, if I may, was a 94806 arrest. This, is separate and apart from that.
Okay, so is 165981 a pending case? For grand theft? These are pending?
Yeah, yes, it is. Yes.
Okay, then the court is gonna revoke his pretrial and do no bond on that one, and then. Okay, and then what about the 153340? That's a pending case as well?
Yes, Your Honor, both orders are written in the division on the same day.
Okay, Mr. Reedy, you might want to come up for a moment. I would just want to show you something. Or we'll go sidebar. So the court is going to revoke his bond in 165981 CF 10A, 153340 CF 10A. Thank you. And then we have Tracy Peoples. Tracy Peoples.
Here, present, Judge?
Good morning, Mr. Peoples. How are you?
All right, how you doing, man? Good morning.
Okay, if you could speak a little louder, Sheila, so he can hear you.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, no, no, she wasn't speaking to you.
Yes. Okay, so he's gonna be ROR. Mr. People, you have trespassing, unoccupied structure or conveyance, ROR, and then you have counts 2 through 5, probation violations, and commitment is asking me to dismiss, or what's the terminology you used? To dismiss. Is he on probation? So does he want to resolve his trespassing then? Is this his only thing pending, or what's happening? Oh, so he doesn't want to resolve it. I understand. So they don't want to violate him? Okay, so court's gonna ROR him on count 1. Any objection to probable cause?
No, Judge.
Okay, court does find probable cause, ROR him on count 1. And then the last case we have is David Millay. We're waiting for David Ferguson. Yes, oh, the court
Who did we
dismisses.
say
Hold
we're
on, sir.
waiting on?
Sir,
Oh, sir.
can I have that back for one moment on the last gentleman? So you're gonna get ROR'd, your counts 2, 3, 4, and 5 for the probation violations are being dismissed. State, you have no objection to that, right? Dismiss 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Well, that's, Sheila, those were,
I'm just
parole.
asking.
Oh, I understand, those were parole, right? I know, I just need to confirm something. Those weren't probation. Your Honor, if they were parole, then they're out of my.
It
purview.
says probation violation or community control.
So that's why I wanted to see before they go through. Okay, then, yeah, from the information I'm receiving, Your Honor, I don't have an objection.
Okay, so sir, let me just, because I don't want you to have a problem, is your address 2040, your mailing, Northwest
Yes.
First Terrace, Pompano?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, look out for your court date for this trespass charge, because otherwise you're gonna get picked up, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good luck to you, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
And Judge, the last gentleman would be Mr. David Malite, and I didn't know what the status of his private attorney.
I can tell you, I looked him up on the Florida Bar website. If his office is at 1 West Las Olas Boulevard, then he would be the David Ferguson, but the phone number that's listed here isn't a phone number. It says 254-100X, and I guess extension 4300. I've tried dialing that, but it doesn't seem to do any good.
That's a fail.
Huh? Do you have his number?
Yeah, I have his. Oh, Judge, we have his number.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
561?
Oh, 561, hold on. 313.
561-313-2794.
Hello?
Yes, David Ferguson, please.
Yes, this is David.
Hi, David, this is Judge Kim Malika. I'm in First Appearance Court in Broward County. I have a client, hello, fine, thanks. I have a David Millite in front of me, and he says that you're representing him on a touch or
Yes.
strike battery.
I got his call last night. What I've done, I've got Robert Michelle is working on getting his bond posted and will be defending David.
Okay, so he is here, you are on speaker, and we are live. Everything's being recorded. So,
Sure.
do you want to represent him now on the phone, or would you like to come in and back at 1 o'clock today? Doesn't matter to me. We can do it on the phone.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do it on the phone.
Okay. And by the way, your number with the Florida Bar is not
Yes, ma'am.
correct on the website. Had your client not had it, we wouldn't have been able to get in touch with you, so you might want to update it. Okay?
I sure will.
All right.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Millite, you are charged with one count of touch or strike battery, domestic violence. The court does find probable cause. The court is going to order no contact, direct or indirect, with the alleged victim in the case, with the name Nicole Susan Gallo. No contact, direct or indirect, sir, means no contact in person, through a phone, texting, social media, liking, disliking, or through third parties. Do you understand, sir? Okay, sir, you have to hit the button?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so, State, you want to talk about bond and speak a little up so Mr. Ferguson can hear you?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, I'm going to be requesting a $5,000 bond. Mr. Malid, in 2015, had a reckless driving out of Boca. In 2007, he was arrested in Palm Beach for domestic violence battery. That was dropped. I would also note the level of violence in this case, punching the alleged victim in her arm and spitting in her face. Also noting that this incident was witnessed by a 12-year-old.
Hello?
Yes, I'm just writing something down, sorry.
I'm sorry, yeah.
No, that's okay, you didn't know, I should have said what I was doing. Okay, obviously, I'm gonna order no return to the 11120 Watercrest Circle E in Parkland, Florida, and he's to maintain 1,000 feet. I want no contact, direct or indirect, with Nicole Susan Gallo and her son.
Understood.
Let's talk about bond. State's asking for 5,000.
Your Honor, we request 2,500. Mr. Maletti lived in the community a long time, and the past issues that were just raised, where he always appeared and faced whatever he was charged with and dealt with it, and we request that you set it at 2,500.
Okay, State, has he had any, are there any allegations or any record showing that he violated an injunction?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then court's gonna grant your request, sir, $2,500 bond. Gotta remind your client, no contact, direct or indirect, with Ms. Gallo and her son. No return to the 1120 Watercrest Circle East, Parkland, Florida. He's to maintain 1,000 feet at all times. Okay, sir?
Understood, Your Honor, and I'll go over that again with Mr. Maletti. And just if you could let him know that we're working on the bond now, and Robert Bushell will be appearing in my stead soon.
The bondsman is actually in the courtroom.
Excellent. Great.
Okay, Madam Bondsman, would you like to just come up? Do you have everything to post the $2,500 bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So I'd like to know an address, because obviously he's not gonna live where he was residing. So, what's an updated address we could use for your client's notices?
I don't have the address. Mr. Bushell does, and I came over here on his, on his request.
Okay, Mr. Malite's gonna talk. Go ahead, Mr. Malite.
I can give you my business address, so everything
Sure.
goes there without, it's 5851 Northwest 159th Street, Miami Lakes, Florida.
Hold on, sir, because I'm writing it down.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Ferguson, just to let you know, I am updating his address with the clerk, so if something changes with this, just make sure that it's updated in the clerk's computer, okay?
Yes, I certainly will.
Okay, so it's 5851 Northwest 159th Street, Miami Lakes, Florida, is that correct?
That is correct, 33014.
33014.
Yes,
Okay, $2,500 bond, sir. Remember, no return to that address. You're to maintain 1,000 feet. No contact, direct or indirect. Oh, and there's one last thing. No firearms or ammunition. If you do possess any, you're to surrender them to your local police department immediately upon your release. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. And one thing,
I need to get my personal belongings out of the house one time. We can figure that
I
out.
will allow third party.
Hunter, I'd request that it be through a law enforcement
I
officer.
am, I was
Okay,
gonna say,
okay.
I'd allow a third party contact with a law enforcement officer, one time only,
Understood.
okay? So if he wants to go down the block or something with the person, and I mean 1,000 feet away, and I don't mean literally down the block, you know, with the police officer, he can go back, they can go back one time, okay?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're
I'll take care
welcome.
of that phone number.
Okay, bye-bye. Good
Good
luck,
day.
sir. Thank you. Okay, we're finished till 1 o'clock.
Lunch, everyone.